Hello everyone, welcome back to Shelf Life Extension. I'm Alexis and today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up as well as my April TBR. So for my March TBR, I picked the absolute minimum. I only picked 3 books to read, and although I did read a bit more than I thought I was going to be, I didn't necessarily read the ones that I had set out for myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about them. It is in no order, so I hope you guys enjoy. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna talk about Cress by Marissa Meyer because this is the only one on my TBR that I legitimately finished. So I buddy read this with Mike from Slice of Mike, and overall I really enjoyed it. So with the Lunar Chronicles, each book introduces a new character, which is from a new princess fairy tale kind of thing. So of course Cinder was Cinderella, Scarlet was Red Riding Hood, and then Cress is for Rapunzel. So we're introduced to Cress, who is a orphaned lunar citizen who has some crazy hacking computer skills, and the queen pretty much kind of banishes her to a satellite where she has to spy on Earth and gain information for the queen and all that good stuff, and she's been stuck there for like 7 years. So she is pretty much tasked with finding Cinder and getting as much information as she can on Cinder and her crew, but instead of reporting a lot of that information back to Levana, she keeps a lot of the details hidden. She helps hide Cinder and them because she hopes that, like, not only does she want Levana out of power, but she really wants and hopes that Cinder and her crew will come and rescue her, which they do attempt to do, and that kind of sets things off. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought that for the most part, I wish there was a little bit more as far as Cress's storyline. I felt like she really didn't have much to the story. She kind of set things in motion, but she didn't actually really affect anything as far as the bigger picture. And it was also kind of slow, kind of hard to get into at times because you go from so many different point of views. I mean, you go from Cinder, from Kai, Scarlet, Wolf, Thorn, and now Cress, also Levana. So you have all these different, Dr. Erland. Literally, you have all these point of views in different chapters and all these different storylines coming together, and it's crazy and interwoven and pretty complicated. So it did feel kind of slow at times. I also felt that sometimes it was predictable. But regardless of all that, it was still very enjoyable. It was an easy read to get into and I enjoyed it. So if you haven't checked out the Lunar Chronicles, you definitely should. Next, I'm gonna talk about The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I was forced to read this for my literary theory class, which I'm in right now. So there's that. I'm sure everybody knows what The Great Gatsby is, but it is narrated by Nick Calloway, who moves to West Egg to join the bonds business, and there he meets Jay Gatsby, and he kind of becomes entranced and really invested in this guy's life and lifestyle and the relationship that he has with his cousin Daisy. So it's a crazy cool kind of love story, and it's pretty awesome. I had to give it 3 out of 5 stars simply because, one, I was forced to read this. I didn't pick it up out of my own wanting to read it. Also, I couldn't just enjoy reading it. I had to take an objective, analytical stance to the text. So that kind of really pulled the fun out of it, and there was a lot of really trying to get into the nitty-gritty of it, and I just couldn't enjoy it for what it was. So that's why I give it that rating. But overall, I really did enjoy this story. I really enjoyed the characters and the overall plot and the way it all tied together. And yeah, so that's that. I'm sure once I actually take the time to read it of my own free will, again, that rating could potentially change. But yeah. So next I read 2 new adult books because on iBooks they were giving away a whole bunch of free new adult like starter series things. So I figured I would get like practically all of them, and because I was in a really weird reading slump this whole month, I wanted something to really just be really cute and easy to read. So I tried and started with one. So I started with this one, which was Deep Blue by Jules Barnard. I mean, check out this guy. Hey. But it's about this girl Callie and her friend Jen who take summer jobs at the local casino, and there they come across, you know, some guys, and Callie meets Jaeger, I'm pretty sure his name is, yeah, Yeager, who happens to be an old schoolmate of her brother's, and they kind of hit it off and stuff. It was super cheesy, super just kind of cliche and cringeworthy at times, but it was just, it's so funny. It was super cute. It was just really easy to read and really easy to get into. So it's just what I needed at the time. So I like inhaled this and it was fun. The main character, Callie, reminds me a lot of me and Shelby in the way that we talk to each other. So it was very realistic for me and just made me want to read it even more. So yeah, I gave this one a 4 out of 5 because it was still really good. And because I liked that one so much, I went ahead and got the second book in the series, which was Blue Crush. Now this follows the storyline of Callie's friend Jen, but it follows along the same plot scenario as the first book, just Jen's point of view. So it's kind of like a companion novel, not necessarily its own new thing. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 because it relied heavily on that first book and that timeline and everything, and I couldn't really accept it as its own storyline and its own personality. It relied way too much on the first book, but it was still really enjoyable, still easy to read, and it was really easy to get through, so there's that. Alright, so now for my March TBR. Again, it's kind of the same thing. I'm still in class, so there's Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I have been reading this all month. I've been buddy reading it with Annie from Bear's Books, but both of us have kind of hit a snag with it. I mean, I only have this much left to finish, but neither of us are really motivated to continue reading on with this because we have problems. But those will be addressed in separate videos on both of our channels, so look out for that if you are interested. Otherwise, hopefully I can get to finishing this month. I might, yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see. Otherwise, I've mentioned this multiple times on this channel before. It's about Claire, who gets transported back to 1700 Scotland, and then she gets kidnapped by these Highlanders because they think she's an English spy, and then there she meets Jamie, and they kind of fall in love and stuff. Next is Hounded by Kevin Hearne. As you guys may know, this was on my TBR for March as well, but I never got around to it. But I really do want to read this, so I'm sticking it again in this freaking month. Otherwise, yes, you know what this is. Atticus O'Sullivan, druid, being chased by the gods. Fun stuff. And next is gonna be Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko. This is another to-read for my school and for my class. It's about this guy named Tayo, who is a Native American who has been held hostage by the Japanese, and yeah, I'm not exactly sure what else this is about, but I have to read it for my literary theory class, so we'll see how that goes. Yay! And then lastly, is The Martian by Andy Weir, because I want to freaking read this. I want to freaking read this, like right now. I might honestly just do that. You know, probably. Besides Ceremony, which I have to read, obviously, this is probably gonna be the first one that I pick up because I know I'm gonna probably love this and I'm gonna friggin' get through it and it's gonna be amazing and I'm just so ready for it. Otherwise, it's about this guy named Mark Watney who becomes stranded on Mars and it's just about him trying to survive. And I'm just so ready. Please, I wanna read it. I mean, that's it. Yeah, I didn't read very much, but you know, a couple. Otherwise, if you have read any of these books, are interested in any of these books, or have any feedback on them, please leave a comment down below. Otherwise, yeah, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, as I always say. Thanks for watching, and I'll check you guys out later. Bye. So, little outro thing for you.
What? What the hell is this? You expect me to sing about her? Don't care about her. It's just a